Yeah. Hey everyone. Nice to meet you all. Previously, I probably didn't show my face and use another Web3 name, Tyler Durden. I'm Kenneth. I head up Moca Network as a project. And yeah, my background has been actually like building companies, building startups, helping companies to grow. And I was in like solar, e-commerce, AI, analytics before, and now I am actually because of my data background now actually is a very natural transition to build around digital identity. Thanks for having me. Yeah, so I've been traveling for the past 4 to 5 weeks already. I've been to Australia and then Korea, Hong Kong, and then New York, and then here in France. And my goal here has always been like sharing about what we do. We can probably bit about like what's amazing things that's happening in France, but it's good. Like the weather is like uh, pretty hot this for the conference, and there are some like exciting like side events and all that as well.
Questions over here. I think should be all right. Okay. Yeah, because we got some feedback saying like things a bit laggy. Let me double check. Yeah, because it's video streaming, so sometimes a bit laggy, but let me check the sound. The sound quality should be all right. But anyways, let's come back. So over we're going to talk about several different important questions and we'd like to learn more about the updates of Mocaverse. And we're going to cover what, why, how, who, when, where, and then we're going to see if anyone has questions that we could answer. But the first question is, what exactly is the Mocha chain? And can you tell us how does it different from other blockchain or different platforms? As we know there are already so many different blockchains out there, right? Thank you.
Exactly. So just to be clear, Mocha Chain is not like another L1 or L2 chain that is like asking all the apps to build on top and competing for users or liquidity. It's really a chain that work in a modular way to actually support any other chains and any apps with digital identity data verifications. You can see Mocha Chain as a home for unified identities with the data storage of the identity data that is encrypted with your own private key. So what that means is the user owns their own data. You can almost see the decentralized data storage on Mocha Chain as your own Google Drive in some ways that only you can unlock. And any kinds of verification is done through a zero knowledge proof. So meaning whoever wants to verify your data do not have access to the raw data, but able to create programs and logic to verify your identity data in any ways. So there are some like really interesting examples about identity data, but like the most boring one, which is also like a very important one because of stablecoin adoption with payment adoption. And with tokenized securities, like you see a lot of increasing needs for KYC, right? Like KYC is like one form of identity data, which not everyone likes, but then I believe, and the whole ecosystem actually believe like that it would become the norm. But then like what that actually means is with zero knowledge proof, you don't need to expose your raw private data, your passport, your image, and so on. But you can still verify with a lot of the applications, right? And what it means on building on Mocha chain, let's say like an identity protocol, such as like a partner called CKMe, they can actually issue KYC data to your identity, which you can use your identity to use and verify on BNB chain, for instance, or verify on Solana, for instance. So having a unified identity and data storage and verify with zero knowledge proof, you can basically bring your data everywhere. That's our main goal of the chain itself. The reason why we built this is because there's nothing similar that actually exists in the space that has the same completeness and the comprehensiveness of the digital identity tech stack that we're building. So yeah, it's not just the chain itself. We have a product called AirKit, which is an entry point for the chain for identity issuance and also verifications that make it seamless. So all these apps that is integrating with AirKit, which is using the Mocha chain, would be able to cross-verify data and also to bring users to one another and verify any kinds of data to create a lot of interesting programmable logic around crypto, token, NFT, or any application logics.
Got it. And I have to say that I'm really, really happy to see that the Mochaverse team has been doing a lot, right? Post TGN, continue to grow and continue to build. So, why do we need Mocha Chain? For example, what pinpoints or problems does Mocha Chain want to solve in the blockchain space, or how does Mocha Chain enhance security or efficiency compared to existing solutions, as we already have so many different blockchains out there? Thank you.
Yeah, so I would say it's not really just solving problems in the crypto space or in the Web3 space. We work with telecom companies, genetics companies, like sports franchise sports companies, education, universities, healthcare. Like all these are Web2 businesses, but also at the same time, obviously there is like token launchpad, trading platforms, games, and Web3 that we work with as well. But I guess to answer your question is like Mocha Chain is not only solving a Web3 or Web2 problem, it's solving a general problem. And the general problem are a few things. Like one is all the identity and data are really, really fragmented right now. Like your data being stored with Uber or Didi, and then like maybe you have like your data and on Facebook, you have your data on Instagram. And Google, like all these data are being stored by centralized entities separately. And what that really means is there's never any way there's like a one unified identity that are able to have an aggregated view or the whole holistic view about yourself as an identity. And what we're really solving here is solving the fragmentation problem of all these data being fragmented across these apps. We're giving back the ownership of the data to the user themselves so that the user can actually share these data selectively with wants to verify the data. So there are many kinds of verification that's happening without you knowing. Like every login is a verification, airline status, like you have actually experience with hotel trying to verify your airline status. You have like airline trying to verify your hotel status, and like projects and platforms ask for KYC, and like there probably a loyalty program asks you to verify if you have purchased something. So all these kind of like cross verifications are actually an identity business without us knowing about it. So by actually unifying all these data and enabling users to share that data in a privacy preserved way is actually a very scalable approach of growing an ecosystem and fostering a lot of actually collaboration on the internet.
Very interesting. And may I have a follow-up question because I also saw the announcement from Mocaverse official X handle and says it's an EVM compatible layer one and purpose built for identity and data, just like you previous share with us. So does that mean that the gas token is Mocha, right?
Yeah, so not only gas, right? So like the gas would be like super cheap, right? Because like we don't think like anyone needs to pay like extra for paying for the gas fee for instance, but like what is actually going processes, you can try to imagine like any kinds of identity projects or any kinds of data projects actually want to get access to or use the infrastructure, right? And the infrastructure in a sense, like a chain is actually nothing different than having a backend, having API, having a front end like that you can actually serve your customers and actually serve your businesses. And what we're offering is actually that. And like the modules that we offer are a few things. Like one, obviously, is on-chain transactions that allow zero knowledge proof to be verified on-chain. And that is being realized through the gas fees. But then there are a lot more, right? Like if you want to store data on the chain without storing data, like the user does not really own their own data, right? So like for each single user being onboarded and their data being issued on the chain, there would be a storage fees, right? And then like the chain also is interoperable and compatible with many other chains. So let's say if you want to verify your data on Solana through your Phantom wallet on Pump.Fund, for instance, or on Radium, you can actually do that because we have a identity oracle which helps to enable cross-chain data verifications. So in order to enable that, there needs to be a fee to be paid. And there's many other ones, such as CTLS for data generation. In order to generate any kinds of web data that you see on the screen to onboard those data, there needs to be a fees. And more importantly is every single data verification costs money. And different kinds of data charge different kinds of pricing. Like for instance, like QIC might be ranging from $50 to $3. There's some more valuable credentials verification that actually costs like $20, $100. For example, genetics report that would cost even more for insurance companies or pharmaceutical research companies to pay even more for each data. All these verification fees, if there are 5 parties or 5 companies to verify the same data, they're actually repeating paying the data for 5 times. And all those verification fees would be denominated in Mocha token. And part of that fee would be used to basically distribute it as rewards to potentially to people who are holding tokens. So like we will share a little bit more on the tokenomics probably after a month or so. But then like you can almost see in terms of the value loop or the relationship is the more users you onboard, the more data you onboard, the more valuable the data is, the more companies or projects are willing to pay for the data, the more fees being generated, then the more value is being accrued to the network itself.
Wow, well noted. Thank you so much, Kenneth, for the detailed information shared with us. And well, I have to say that I actually am also a Mocha holder and have been monitoring the chart. And after we post the announcement, I of course very happy to see that the price went up. That's really happy. But of course, friends, it's not financial advice. I just wanted to share my joy joyness with everyone over here. And of course, some people might wondering how exactly does Mocha work, because you talk about like previously talk about like data, right, and security, and how can we start to work it? Do you mind to break down the underlying tech Mocha chain in some simpler terms that we could understand, even though we're not so techy. I mean, we means myself. Thank you.
Yeah, sure, of course. So what Mocha Chain enables is really completing the end-to-end life cycle of issuing data, claiming the data as a user, verifying the data, and also getting paid for verifying the data. So how we enable that, let's start with the data generation process. There are two types of generating the data. One is what we call like relying on trusted data issuer. So for example, for example, like Binance can be a data issuer. It can issue data about your trading volume, or it can issue data about your KYC status, issue data about like years you have been a Binance customers. So Binance as a trusted issuer can actually attest that data to the user, and the user would have the technology to actually encrypt the data, store in our decentralized data storage. Why it's important to store the data in the decentralized data storage? What that means is even if me personally don't exist or die in I don't know, like a car crash or any reasons I don't exist anymore, all those data would still be existing, and it would be forever owned by the user, him or herself. And what that means is also like the user can generate a what we call the zero knowledge proof, that you can use that data to verify with any apps that is recognizing the zero knowledge proof. And what is zero knowledge proof? Maybe let me break it down a little bit. And let me give an example. The raw data can be date of birth. It can be your month, date, and year of birth. And let's say there's a liquor store or like a supermarket that is selling you alcohol. That supermarket wants to verify if you're over 18. In the normal circumstances, that store would be asking for your passport and all the information that they do not actually have the necessity to access, right? Like I'm not comfortable to show my full passport to everyone who's like, for example, at a supermarket to look at all my personal details, right? What Zero Knowledge actually does is without exposing your raw information and passport, but the supermarket is able to verify whether you're over 18 or not. And to be honest, that's the only information that the supermarket needs. The only thing is, why would the supermarket trust you for claiming that you're over 18? Our technology actually enabled that and make that happen, and make that happen also everywhere. So let's say if that supermarket is an online store on Solana, you can also do that. Let's say if it's like just a Web2 store, you can also do the same. So that is what we're really enabling. Another part is the data generation process. At the chain level, natively, we're offering a technology called CKTLS. What CKTLS is normally like a handshake process, like between the browser and the server, so that you can see it on your screen. So like one example is your bank account balance. The bank account, that why you see your bank account balance is because there's a server like interacting with the browser that you're seeing. That's why you're able to see your bank account balance. What CKTLS actually does is able to capture the data without with the very 100% confirmation that like the data is directly returned by the bank. And that actually bypass all the API integration and allow any kinds of web data being able to be generated and encrypted, put it on the storage, and so that you can actually verify everywhere on any chains. So that's like, I hope that explained a little bit about what we do and try to use as layman terms as possible there.
Wow, thank you so much. It's definitely really clear. And I have to say, I really, really appreciate you can use a simpler term to explain the tech underlying Mocha chain, right? And of course, people are wondering any use cases on Mocha Chain like could be shared or presented. And can you think, let's just say video streaming, if you wanted to share your screen, feel free to do so as well. Or you could just share, let us know what are some potential or current use cases that you wanted to let our audience know about. Right now, I see that we have over 9,000 live audience on Binance Live. Thank you.
Yeah, so there are many use cases. Maybe I can actually pull up the Mocha Chain website. Like for those, like feel free to go to mochachain.org. We put a few example use cases there and to help everyone understand it. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah. So if you look at like this part is the technology that the main ones that we I've just shared, like decentralized data storage, identity oracle that relay data verification across chains, using serial knowledge proof to verify on chain, and also a CKTLS to allow the user to generate any kinds of data. And down here, you can see this is not just limited to these use cases, but like we want to use simple terms on use cases. For example, you can see that like in the finance case study that if you want to borrow money, like usually the bank is verifying your credit score, is verifying your bank account statements, it's verifying all those kind of data. Um, let's say if you want to borrow money on or any kinds of data, any kinds of borrow and lend. Like right now, you cannot actually do that because like there's no in real life data or actual data that you can actually verify on chain. So that's one. Second is without exposing too much of your raw information, how can you still apply for a bank loan? What if you don't want to show your whole bank account statement, right? Like there may be private transactions data that you don't want to share. Right now, we just like even though we're not comfortable with sharing because you need to apply for a bank loan, you need to basically share all those data. So that is one example on finance. And then there's like some very interesting use case, like for example, in the healthcare and wellness case. Like this is not really exactly about that, but verbally I want to share about this use cases, right? Like for example, when you go to a pharmaceutical, a pharmacy, right? Let's say you go to CVS pharmacy, you want to buy some prescribed medicine that normally you cannot get access to because you need a prescription from the doctor, right? There's many fake prescription and all that. But what if a doctor that you see is a whitelisted doctor that is in the network that the pharmacy trusts? That doctor can issue a prescription as a credential to the identity, which the user can actually use that identity going to the pharmacy and to verify data in order to collect their medicines. There are also other use cases such as LinkedIn. If you go on LinkedIn, you see many profiles. I'm pretty sure probably 70% of them are fake profiles or having false information. How do you actually verify that information? That the user itself who's applying for the job actually went to that school or actually went to that company for work. You cannot actually do that at the moment. So like what we're offering as a solution as a whole is allow all these use cases happen. But what is going to drive a hockey stick growth is not a one by one use cases. It's all these use cases and all these credentials being issued to the identity itself is under one single unified identity if it's you yourself, right? So all the kinds of data that we just talked about, including your education history, your healthcare records, like your gaming history, your bank account balance, everything is one unified identity that can be verified everywhere by any apps in the at the moment, and no matter it's Web2 or Web3. So we're really unlocking like some very interesting cases here. Um, yeah, so like in Cannes right now, like in France, like we hosted a hacker house I'm not sure if you can see my Twitter
Mm-hmm.
screen here. Um, but we have just hosted our hacker house, and you can see some use cases here, right? Like for example, this hacker actually built a payment terminal that you can use pay stablecoin to pay at the store directly, right? Like not through Mastercard but Visa card. So you actually waive all of these. But then what's interesting here is you can verify your identity at the point of payment. And what that means is your payment logic such as discount, buy one get one free, additional voucher, or like a referral bonus, and all that can actually be happening at the same time when you're paying for that product in real life, right? So you can verify any kinds of identity data in real life at the store. And that's what we call programmable money because you can basically program any kinds of payment. And here you can see like this CredCK company, like this project is building verified financial credentials for lending money or borrowing money. This project is building ads um, by verifying like your data in different ads. So yeah, just to share a few examples of things that you can actually do, but identity use cases actually spread across many different use cases and many different industries.
Wow, sounds like very useful blockchain over here, the Mocha chain. And of course, we have a lot of audience over here watching, and they also have questions. For example, where can we find the like any other than the Mochaverse website? Okay, let me sort through the questions over here because we got so many comments. So other than the Mochaverse website, where can we also use Mocha Chain as a Web3, well, a normal user? Thank you.
Yeah, so I mean, as a normal user, like you, you would, there are some products like that would be published by us, that would be coming in August that you can interact directly. But then, like the experience that you would have wouldn't happen in only one app. It would basically be embedded in many other apps. So the way to experience that is not your typical sense of okay, like Milkiverse is launching a game, you play that game, or it's launching a DEX, you use that DEX. But it's more about along the customer journey of playing that game, you would actually see like part of the Mocha network identity product, um, and as part of the process, right? So let's say when you trying to buy a weapon or like you pick up a weapon in the game, like it actually asks you to verify if you have more than I don't know like 500 points on Steam or something like that. That is only exclusive for people who can verify their data. That is not like a complete game process, but it's part of the gaming experience because it's like you need to verify your identity data there. And there would be other apps that would actually be having a similar process by verifying identity data. So it's not like in a traditional sense, like someone launch an app and then you use that app. But it's more like all these apps are using Mocha identity stack, and then like along that customer journey, you would be able to experience that directly. But in August, we will also share like publish our own direct to consumer product for everyone to experience it as well.
Got it. Thank you so much, Kenneth, for answering our audience question. And another question related to this one is actually, is Mocha Chain a public or private blockchain? And what implications does this have for our users? Thank you.
Yeah, so it's a public permissionless blockchain. Everyone can use it. Everyone can deploy anything there. Um, we have a product called AirKit, which is a SDK that actually like wrap all chain experience into a very seamless click, drag and drop kind of experience for developers. So, for example, you can issue and verify data by just like using a dashboard. So that's like really cool. But then to answer your question, it's a public permissionless blockchain. Everyone can use it. Everyone can deploy things on it. Like we don't have plans to make it like a meme coin launchpad or anything like that. So, but then we cannot stop people from doing that either. Um, so, so yeah, I hope that answered the question.
Got it. Well, thank you so much for mentioning that because I have to say that this is kind of like so many projects or so many developers, right? They wanted to build a meme token launch pad or yeah, anything related to meme tokens as a way to earn more money or to attract more users, right? So thank you, Kenny, for especially mentioning on that. And of course, since we have so many audience over here watching, we would like to cover the who part, who uses Mocha Chain and who are the primary users of Mocha Chain and what roles do they play? And also, why should they care about Mocha Chain? Maybe let's first talk about well, who are the target users that the Mochaverse team wanted to find? Thank you.
Yeah, so in the Mocha chain ecosystem, there are three parties, right? Like there are the end users. So like me and you, like everyone can be an end user. And as an end user, like if you have been through like the finance account opening process and you have done KYC once, you would know that like basically you are an identity user already, right? So like that type of user experience um, is already like you as a user interacting with the product. But then like it's not just like KYC, but then there's a lot more like such as your lens profile for instance, or like editing your LinkedIn profile, like all those are basically identity. So you can see basically all those as your direct to product kind of experience there. And then there are another two types of like types of users on the chain. One is as a data issuer, and what that data issuer means is like the data issuer can actually inform about the user by attesting data to the user identity. And the main motivation of these parties and issuers are to monetize the data. Because when a verifier, which is the third persona and type of user who wants to verify your data, actually the verifier needs to pay the issuer. So like there's an economy where verifier pays the issuer issue data to the user would get benefits by either the verifier or the issuer because it's contributing to the data economy. Um, so that is like basically the triangle of like the user types. But then obviously like you also have like the likes of the token holder, what do you do with it? So you can run a validator, but the validator is not going to be open for everyone, at least not for now. And then also like by having the token, you all can also participate in like directing. There's a lot of that actually would accrue value to the token itself. But I think from a token holder perspective, how you should think about it is in normal circumstances, there was never a way for you to invest in tokens. Sorry, to invest in data. And like but what we believe in is data should be a new asset class, and there should be a way for people to get access to that value accrual. Because we keep saying data is the new oil, data is very important. Data would be increasingly becoming more valuable. But the question is, like, everyone knows how to buy like Bitcoin, everyone knows how to buy ETH and so and gold, or even physical gold. But how do people buy data and capture the appreciation in the value of data? In normal traditional circumstances, the only way to do that is to acquire the entire company. And how Facebook is acquiring WhatsApp is because of its data. And that's literally the only way you can capture the upside of the appreciation and value of data, right? What if I tell you, like with a Mocha chain ecosystem, you can actually get access to that value accrual and appreciation and data, and that's what we would love to share probably next time here on the new kind of like token economy that we're very excited about sharing with you guys.
Well noted. Thank you so much, Kenneth. Well, it seems like we have a lot of potential users, right? That our Binance Live over here. So, well, since we previously actually we also covered about use cases, right? And also who are the target users. Are there any notable partnerships or organizations involved with Mocha Chain? Do you mind to let us know some latest updates? Thank you.
Yeah, of course. So as I said, like the partners are not just like Web3 native projects, but we have just announced like Olympics and previously with SK Telecom, which is the second largest company in Korea, the largest telecom in Korea, and OneFootball with like 200 million active users, mostly in Europe. There's like a lot more. Uh, there's some InfoFi like projects, creator projects that we work together, education, universities, um, and some finance platforms, some chains. So like there's really a lot, and there are some regional strategic partnerships as well that we should be announcing soon. But basically, almost like any types of partners, and we would announce them like one by one going forward, like towards the testnet and mainnet launch, and hope everyone would be excited about it.
Got it. Thank you so much, Kenneth, for letting us know about it. And I see that we have so many Chinese audience joining, and they are also long-term Mocaverse supporters as well. And well, Kenneth, do you mind to speak some Chinese to say hi to our audience over here? Is actually the request of our community.
哦哦，Hello，大家好。
Nice. Thank you so much. And we also continue to give away red envelopes on Binance Live. This is also another Asian tradition, right? And let's go to when, because the timeline is really, really important. When Mocha Chain, what is the expected launch date for Mocha Chain? Are there any key milestones or events leading up to the launch? Thank you.
So like the Yeah, so a lot of people like when we announced that are assuming that, oh, we just announced it but we haven't built it yet. But basically like the DevNet is already live. Like developers are already like building on it, like testing it out. We're doing some internal testing right now with the developer network. Um, like we would go, as we said, like testnet would be going in Q3, mainnet would be in Q4, and we have more or less like the completeness of the stack is more or less ready. I think we're fine tuning, improving, optimizing at the moment to make sure like everything is great and amazing. So that's the timeline, and we should be announcing like the new tokenomics after testnet. So yeah, like, as I said, like I do believe it's pretty exciting things like in the next few months. And again, like we would also not only from a user point of view, we would also love to invite like builders to build with us as well.
That is so nice. Thank you so much. And friends, will continue to follow Mocaverse and follow Kenneth or Tyler, right? So you can get a lot of great updates from them. And of course, right now we got over 1,200 live audience on Binance Live, and we're also being featured on the front page of Binance Live, which is super amazing. And we would like to continue our MA question over here. How will it launch be communicated to the public and potential users? Will you, for example, like other than make an announcement, will there be any marketing campaigns? What are the strategies leading to the launch? Thank you.
Yeah, so we're taking a lot of the things that we announced and people actually saw just now, and it's only a piece of it, right? Like we over time we you would actually over time you would see like the full picture of what we're actually building. And we want to take an approach where we're building a good foundation, good fundamentals, like build an ecosystem, stabilize, and then we grow from there. So like there would be definitely a lot of marketing that would be going on around like August, September time to really activated right now is the period of building, right? And the period of building is like focusing on optimizing and taking feedback from the developers and growing the ecosystem. But yeah, like to answer the question, marketing and activation would definitely start happening around August and September.
Got it. Nice. Thank you so much. And very exciting about it. Also, super well. Looking forward to the launch. And also, where will Mocha-chan launch? Are there any specific industries or regions that Mocha-chan is looking to launch in first, or will it go global all at once? Thank you.
Yeah, it would go global all at once, um, and because it's a permissionless chain, so like we cannot really like stop anyone from using it. So it would be for everyone. Um, and in terms of geographic like focus, like there are certainly specific regions that we would be put more priorities on, and especially those who are more active in crypto adoption. But then it doesn't mean that like we don't care about like other regions. Yeah, but the go-to-market would be global.
Got it. That's really nice. Thank you so much, Kenneth. And of course, we will wanted to know will Mocha-chan be available to everyone to participate? Any limitations, especially like geo blocks or any other requirement, KYC, etc. Thank you.
Yeah, so no, there's like currently no plans of geo blocking or KYC at the moment. And it's also really depends on the partners who are building on Mocha Chain. It really depends on them. And we got some exciting partners, and and I think what actually get me very excited as well is when we started building this and driving towards this vision and direction. Not a lot. Identity wasn't really like the main kind of like focus. And I would say even now, like the general public in terms of retail or normal users actually don't see this yet. But I can almost share and guarantee with you, almost all of the projects, all of the largest investors in the world, of the institutions, and everyone is like very excited about identity. The reason being, like with all these like payment AI agent and stablecoin, and also the interoperability of data, everyone start to see like, oh wow, actually identity is actually coming. I'm not talking about like small investors, like the largest U.S. Based funds, and like everyone has a consensus that identity is going to be massive. So that is what really excites me, and also like the go-to-market with the and campaigns like working with you guys users. There's a lot of things that we have in the back pocket and hope to ship it out for all of you soon.
Wow, that's great news. Thank you so much, Kenny, for letting us know about that. And before wrap up the session, of course, we still got some time, right? Do you mind to let us know what are some future plans for Mocha Chan? Thank you.
Yeah, the I would say the next like before testnet and testnet to mainnet is definitely on the tech and the product side, like to do as best as possible on optimizing not only like the infrastructure side but also the UI UX side of things. Um, so that would be the main focus. And second is onboarding ecosystem, and focusing on like the high value use cases and working with the industry leaders on driving that use cases together. And third is also building out the tokenomics model and testing and making sure like everything is well balanced there. Those would be the main focus there. And after that would basically be marketing, activation, campaign, incentives, rewards, and like those would be actually coming after all those like fundamentals are being sorted out.
Got it. That's really amazing. Thank you so much. Yeah, a lot of important things already being planned and the roadmap. So very amazing. So Well, previously talk about normal users, right? How they could participate in Mocha Chain, and how about for developers or different projects and business? How can they also get involved with Mocha Chain? Thank you.
Yeah, so if you go to the Mocha Chain site, and also you can reach out to the ecosystem team. And if you're keen to build together, we want to work with the best builders, the best projects, especially identity projects. We want to give the projects a home and where it can basically enable you with access to distribution of other apps and also like hundreds of millions of users. So we want to be here and help you and want to make sure that we work with the very small group of best projects together. Um, so feel free to reach out to the team or go to the site. There's a forum where you can fill in and apply for the testnet access and all that.
Nice. Thank you so much. And everyone, if you are interested to collaborate with Mocha Chen, be sure to go to the website and let apply for the great opportunity to connect with the team. And of course, since we got so many audience right now across multiple platforms, how can new people, new audience on board to Mocha Network? Thank you.
Yeah, so follow us for sure on X and Binance Square. We would continuously publish a lot of content and working with amazing creators like you. And would be also like check out the mocha.network/blog. And that's where you actually are able to learn a lot more about Mocha. If you want to learn more about like this chain, maybe let me share my screen quickly. If you want to learn about this chain, you can go to mocha.network /blog, and then you will able to see a lot more content, like why we do this, how it works, and why it's important. And by even having like user screens, so you would understand like how you're interacting with the product once it's live. So would strongly recommend like following us on X, following us on Binance Square.
Oh, I think Kenny accidentally dropped. That's okay. We can wait for him to come back. Let me go to Let me go to our backstage and check on him. Okay, let's wait for a while and give him some time. I'm going to put the banner over here for a while. And then maybe we can play some music while we're waiting for Kenneth to come back. Okay, Docky, welcome
Yeah.
back. Oh my goodness. Yeah, well, this session ran for almost
Right.
an hour, and of course, battery cannot hold it for too long. But thank you so much for rejoining pretty soon. And we just have one last question, right? We were talking about how can the new audience on board to Mocha Network, especially right now, we got so many people watching us this AMX session across multiple platform, right? And for example, let me check. On Binance, we have close to 15,000. And on Xvideo, we also have over, let me see, X streaming. Right now, we got over 3,000 live audience. Pretty cool. So, yeah, for people, well, other than following Mocha, right, it's obviously the most, yeah, common way to do it. Other ways that we could also get involved in the Mocaverse ecosystem. Thank you.
Yeah, so we would be so definitely follow us and but on all channels, and then in the next 1 to 2 months we would have like back-to-back campaigns that will be rolling out that you guys can interact with directly, and also like there's some different variations of campaigns going, so you can participate in different ways, right? You can participate as a creator, you can participate as a user, you can participate even trying out the product as a data issuer or a verifier. That would be pretty cool. Yeah. So, well, I guess I don't have a direct like call to action now on the interaction side, but like I guess like stay tuned for the new campaigns that we're pushing out in the next month or two.
Nice. And everyone be sure to continue to follow Mocaverse and wait for the announcement and so exciting marketing campaigns for everyone to participate. Once again, thank you so much, Kenneth, for your time spending with us. I know you are very busy attending a lot of offline events as well, right? Across the globe. And looking forward to seeing you somewhere at a conference. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. And also to our friends who are from North America, happy 4th of July. A very, very peaceful day today. Have a great rest of the day. Kenneth, see you next time.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye. Okie dokie. I'm going to stop sharing. And we are going to continue to play some music. And over here, I think I am going to